Welcome to our Shenmue, the animation after show. This is episode 7. I forgot the name of the episode, but I don't think they matter. They just like give them one like name, right? Like the Shadow, or you're like, all right, cool. It has nothing to do with the Shadow. This episode is mostly like okay. So this is another part of like, oh, you're waiting for the intro. Now I'm not going to give you an intro. We're going to go right into the episode. So part of this episode was that it was the four Wude, right? Or Wude, if you watch the American dub version of it, Barry. I don't know if you've seen it, but they say Wude. Is that how?
Let's get sweaty.
Okay, is that how it's pronounced though? Like when we played the English one back in the day, it was four Wude, right?
I thought they were like the four Wude, like the U was silent.
Man, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, but yeah, they put an A on this one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's more like actually what it's supposed to be, because it's not like the original game had the best dub in the world.
Right.
But are you surprised that a lot of the episode has been like very gamey, at least for the second part? Like they're really focusing on, you have to find the four Wude or whatever we're gonna say it.
Yeah, there was some very gamey elements, especially in these last few chapters, and this one was titled Future.
Oh yeah.
Because Ryo, he ran past the future signpost and then he jumped to the future.
Oh, it's like Back to the
Wait,
Future.
that's Sonic. That's Sonic. But it's very. But I'll admit, we're kind of reaching a point in Shenmue 2 where I can't remember what happens in the game.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to run through this and see how close or how far off it is.
Yeah, so first character we're going to talk... Well, I like talking about the characters they introduce here because I think it's interesting to look at them and what they look like before. The first one we have is this 14-year-old Feng Mei. Is that how you say her name? She was kind of like a side character. She was like the slave for the dojo. I mean, she's always cleaning. I mean, she's cleaning. Do they pay her? I don't know. I played the game, and I don't think I've ever seen her get money ever. So, as long as if somebody wants to prove me wrong that she's not a slave, I would happily like to listen to your guy. No, I'm just joking. But she's the maid, I would say. I don't know. She's 14 years old, child labor. I don't know how that works in China, but she's like the maid or like the custodian for the dojo. And in the game, she has a minor role, and it's one of those characters that it depends on how much time you spend with them. Because I think you get like additional scenes, and she actually calls you Mr. Hasuki, and then she calls you Ryo if you actually get to know her. So this is one of those elements that is kind of... I'm surprised they even put her in the game, to be honest with you. And what do you think about her redesign for the... It's way more anime. Like if I told you this is an American girl, you'd probably be like, yeah, it's an American girl. It's like very racial, very ambiguous.
With the wink. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
The Shenmue 2, it's more like realistic graphics, which is something I always liked about Shenmue 2. That they had like racial people that looked like sometimes a little bit too much, that people thought it was a little stereotypical. But yeah, she was cool in this. She just had a minor role. I'm glad she was included. I thought it was going to be one of the characters that actually got cut out. I was going to ask you, did you do any of the side stuff with her, or did you ignore her pretty much?
I remember doing a fair bit of side quests, I guess, with her. There was some fun little things going on, because in Shenmue, sometimes you're not sure if what you're doing is helping the main plot or if it is a side quest. You know, you can't be too sure, which I actually like about Shenmue. I know there's a lot of Yakuza comparisons, but Yakuza makes it very clear you're doing a side quest.
Yeah.
Shenmue, not so much. Sometimes you're like, oh, that was just for fun.
Yeah, or the dialogue stuff. It's like you have to, you know. Oh, we also saw, I forgot what the name of this place is. I'm sure if I look at one of the characters I have open up here. The school, what's this? Guan martial arts school. We finally got to see it. In my opinion, this is one of the most epic parts of the second game for me. When you like walk down the hall and you see all those like all the people doing karate or martial arts. I don't know what kind of martial arts. I thought that was pretty epic. I didn't think they kind of like pulled that off in the anime episode. It wasn't like it was this big old school and you're walking and you see everyone bow down or whatever when you're walking. It wasn't that epic or anything. But what was your opinion on like finally seeing this school? Because to me it was a big deal. I don't know if you even cared when you played the game, but
that was always, I believe that was in trailers, or it was definitely in promotional materials. They really liked pushing this whole like, how many characters can you see on screen at once? And that was pretty amazing to see them all, in unison doing these moves, and you're walking through there. Yeah, so it's very cool that they actually worked that into the anime.
Yeah, I just didn't think it had the impact like a game, but it's kind of hard when it's like Shenmue was selling you game hardware. This is just an animation of adaptation of the story. They're not selling you their animation or anything. Like the animation in this series is like a 6 out of 10 sometimes, and it has really nice scenes randomly of the fighting. So it's kind of like a mixed bag, I would say. Zwan, the master for the school, also kind of has like a redesign. He has way more an anime look. In the other one, he looks like an old Chinese guy, like what you think about in an Asian movie from the 80s. Like the master. He kind of looks like that in Shenmue 2. In this one, he's like more husky. He's got a little husk to him. He looks like he's a little chubby.
A lot of the old people in Shenmue, and especially Shenmue 2, looked like skin stretched over a skull. Like they looked really creepy.
Yeah.
Like they had no fat in their face at all. They would just be like, "Oh, hello, Rio. Yes, of course." And you'd be like, "Oh my god, this guy's so ugly."
Yeah, definitely. They put so much detail in the old people. Like when
Yeah, that is kind of creepy.
When I used to show this game to people, like look at the graphics. Always had to show the old person, and like I'm like, look how old they are. They're ridiculously old. Because I mean, like when you used to play games before the Dreamcast, it was like everybody was just one polygon, like Final Fantasy, where there's no face. So that was pretty impressive. We got Bai, which is like the hustler of the like he's supposed to be the student that he ruined his life, and you have to like convince to show you the next Wude. And he is basically a bum in the mall who hustles people to get change. Basically, he's a homeless man. His part in the game for me felt very short, that I almost forgot about him, and then I saw him and I'm like, oh, it's that one dude with the weird hair in the game that couldn't, like, you could tell they had trouble like designing his hair in the game. It's like the weirdest hair ever. So what was your opinion on him here? Because I personally liked it. I think they played up the hustler bit, and I thought it was cool. But what about you?
I liked him. That's this whole episode. It surprised me that he was almost getting a whole episode featuring him. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. I always thought he kind of looked like, and I'm already blanking. What's the name of that bad little kid who steals your backpack?
Oh, Wong, I think.
He looks like he could be Wong's dad, doesn't he?
Oh my God! Can you imagine if he did a like it is part of his story? I don't think we're going to see Wong again in the next games. But...
Well, maybe this is future because this is Wong, like his older self after he, turned
time travel.
Turned to beer, and he just lives in the mall. Yeah, time travel. Maybe this is Back to the Future.
Yeah, and it's also interesting that I know Yakuza does this a lot, but Wong and this character is like a look into the homelessness in China, which is kind of like something that a lot of games kind of shy away. Like when you go to China, or even in Grand Theft Auto, like, is there that many plots with homeless people in those games? Not really. So it's pretty interesting seeing Sega's games usually touch on poverty in a way, But this is very the next character we want to talk about is Ren, which he's kind of like a side character this episode. He's been looking for Ryu the whole time, and he kind of flirts around with Joy a bit, or teases her a bit. So far, the only difference between the anime look and the video game look is that he has like this necklace, but I thought he had this necklace in the game too. I have. He does, right?
He did.
Yeah, maybe it's just the render that I picked.
Maybe, this is we got to do an investigation on
yeah. Because I looked at a couple pictures, and I don't think I saw the necklace on either of them. But he also has a very defined six-pack.
He does have the necklace in the game.
Okay.
He does. Okay, but in this render, he does not.
Okay. Yeah, so it's very game
and it
accurate.
does move around.
Oh, in the game. Good.
In the game. So he's like laying sideways, and it's facing this way. So that's pretty big to have a animated necklace.
My only issue I would say with Ren is that he has like a very specific frowning face usually, or that gave you this weird vibe, you know, like more of a Han Solo vibe. Here he kind of looks like a little anime girl sometimes with his eyes, the way they made him. Like,
yeah.
So I mean that's just part of the anime style, you know. And
yeah, and I know it's not in the notes, but I was just going to bring up that the crowd scenes, when you see people in the background, they're 3-dimensional models with a 2D like cell shading to them.
Yeah. And
they don't have faces, and they're pretty poorly dressed. Like they just have like one colored shirt and one colored pants, and they move a little herky jerky. And you'll see in certain scenes in this, they're used as like background characters, and it's really like it's kind of glaringly obvious that they're not drawn. That was my one complaint about this whole episode. I just wanted to bring that up because we're getting where you see them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that one, because like there's even the scene when you go into the mall where the camera was obviously in a 3D space, and it was so glaring, obviously. Like it was so obvious, like you said. But that's just the part of like new animation. I hate it personally. I'm like, I understand that it takes money to animate, but these anime studios are getting so cheap that like not even little background characters can be doodled up real quick. It's like, I don't know. As a person that loves animation and grew up with Disney and all these like high quality animations, it's sad that we're going back. Like some of this 2D animation is getting worse and worse, you know?
For sure.
I added this last picture from Shenmue Dojo. It's a look at what's her name's room. Man, I don't even have her profile up, but Zhang.
She's got more of a butt.
Oh, Zhang Ying Hong. Yeah, she has more of a butt in the anime for sure. They sexualized her. No, not really. I mean, if you're kicking all day, you're gonna have a butt just like Ryu, dude, and her. So in the animation, I mean, they literally kept her room almost the same. I mean, they changed little things slightly, but like even the drapes, her little blue teddy bear, it's there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the pots, even the scrolls are almost in the exact same place.
Yeah. So like that's my thing. The little attention to detail sometimes in this anime is like top tier. Some of the read designs are a little weird because I mean you have to change it from this 3D, more realistic take on characters to this anime style that they have going on to blend together. And that's the problem with anime though. It's hard to tell what characters are what race. And that's what the weird part about anime is. Like you'll see a blonde girl with like big blue eyes, and then they're like, she's from Japan, and it's like, all right, I'll take it, I guess. Like I literally never see blonde girls with blue eyes in America. Like they're like not walking around everywhere. The fact that they have so many in Japan sometimes when you watch anime is kind of cool, I guess. So what was your opinion on this episode ending with? I would say it's like this is kind of like a filler episode where they're like doing the Wude thing. It was literally a mission that I think a lot of people forgot. I don't remember a lot of people talking about the homeless drifter guy when they talk about Shenmue 2. We talk about the Yellowhead building and the fights and stuff.
Oh, who is the homeless drifter guy?
Well, he's not a drifter.
That guy. That guy.
Yes. But yeah, what was your opinion? Like, it felt kind of like it was just one of the weird little missions before you get to the big part of a scene in the Shenmue game, and they made a whole episode of it.
That's what I find interesting is Shenmue 1 was really condensed. It was the first 5 episodes, right?
Yeah.
And now here we are dedicating a whole episode to kind of a side mission. So, I mean, thankfully there's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is it a 12 episode series?
I think it might be 13.
It is. Well, yeah, so 6 more episodes, and it's not even going to cover Shenmue 3. So, I mean, what if it does? Do you think it would?
Know. I don't think
Has
it is.
that been confirmed?
No, I think when they did the press release, when it was first announced and I reported on it, they said it was going to cover part of 2. So we might end up like before he goes to meet what's her name, like right in the Yellowhead building when you're looking at Landy leaving in the helicopter.
Oh,
that's what I think.
It could. I think you're right. I think the anime will end there, and then they're not going to be so strict with which game it is. They're going to be like, the next season will be, and that probably will work in their favor, because maybe they'll do like a short season 2 to cover 3, and they just need more story.
I hope they take some liberty with 3 and like play up some of the characters' relationship. Maybe like if they want to make it 13 episodes, there's a lot of you could play around with in 3. There was that deleted chapter we talked about in our Sega Talk Shenmue 3 episode that they didn't do, even though they got the Kickstarter money for it. So there's some stuff they could do and play around with. It's gonna be interesting if like this does well enough to get a Shenmue, season 2, and then they finish 2, which catches us up all the way to 3. You think they're gonna go to like just tell the story on the anime, or do you think there's gonna try to like fund another game?
I have to wonder if they are trying to align this with a potential Kickstarter or some sort of fan-funded project for 4. I can't imagine Shenmue going dormant once this series ends. I mean, they totally want to do another season, and like I said, I think they are probably going to do a shortened season 2 in hopes of there being a Shenmue 4. But yeah, it's Shenmue's in a weird place right now, I feel, because when Yu Suzuki is interviewed, he doesn't really seem all that like, yes, 4 is happening, just you wait,
He's been silent for sure, even with the anime.
Yeah.
Have you heard him talk about it too much on Twitter? Like, he hasn't really updated at all about the anime, watch the anime.
I guess, but then again, he's not like a super active Twitter user. He's not like, true. Hey, what's up, Shenmue gang?
You know what?
Yu Suzuki here.
You're right, because that was one of our complaints with the Kickstarter, was that he wasn't like really doing as many videos on updates. So he's like the type of guy that just, get away from me, leave me alone, let me do my thing. But that's just more speculation. Yeah. Has nothing to do with the episode, but it was an alright episode. I would say this is more of the gamery one. It had some cool little moments, but mostly I think it was what I like to call a filler in the middle of these episodes. I'm hoping we get more Ren later. I did like the Joy scenes, which I hope they have more of her. And they also have some weird flashback stuff, which with some of the characters that we might be seeing in the future. So right. I do wonder. I'm kind of excited to see it next week and see how we move the plot a little more forward. But any final thoughts before I close it up?
I mean, we are I think we're past the halfway point at this point, right? 5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're past the halfway point, and so far so good on the series. I guess at this point, I'm very interested to see how I think like what we discussed, how the spacing is, because if this really does not cover all of 2, but we still have that many, like 8 episodes left or something, mm-hmm. or 7 episodes, like I'm very interested to see what they do. And in the end, looking back, will we look at this episode and be like, man, what a waste of time. Like, why did they do a whole episode devoted to this guy? Or are we gonna be like, isn't it awesome that they did 4 episodes for the 4 Wude or whatever?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we are going to be talking about this episode again in a few weeks, just in context with where we are going to be going. And I'm very interested to see where things go. I hope things actually keep this pace, because I didn't like how fast 1 was. Goro's gone. There's no more Goro.
That sucks.
It sucks.
I think we all felt the same way when we beat the first game, where, wait, Goro's not coming along with us? What's going on here? This game sucks.
What if he was swimming?
I wish, bro. I wish. tell us what you guys thought about this episode of Shenmue the Animation. What do you guys think about all the characters getting spotlights that kind of were more minor in the game compared to the anime getting a full episode? What do you guys think about the future? What do you guys think about some of the flashback scenes? And do you guys think we will finish the story through an anime? Would you guys like that? Bye.